It's the National Football League on EA Sports, and the wait is over for this rivalry game. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants, next on Madden Football.
We welcome everybody to the Garden State. EA Sports coverage of the NFL finds us at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis with you from our broadcast perch. And Charles, as we get this thing started, what are you going to be keeping your eye on?
Special teams. Field position is always a big determiner in a ball game. Who sets their offense up for success the best? That team will win the game.
The longtime Panther Graham Gano has us set for a start as we are underway from MetLife Stadium. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Time for Dak Prescott and the Dallas offense to go to work. Prescott, of course, the former fourth-round pick in 2016 out of Mississippi State.
And how about the toughness of Dak Prescott? We see it all the time on the field. And remember when he had that serious ankle injury, would he return to form? Boy, did he ever. And he was better than ever, and that's great for the NFL. Terrific resilience, playing at a high level, capable of winning a championship with his arm and his legs.
And Dak going to start out going to the air. He's got it complete to Tolbert. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on second down. So from the 37, here's 2nd and 2. Blue on the toss. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. He got maybe a half yard at most, but officially they'll be left with a 3rd and 2.
Defensively, we always know that he is tough in run support, and I think the way that he gets there is he understands what an offense is going to do before the ball's even snapped. A great job of scouting prior to the game, then reading, reacting, and taking the right path to the ball carrier.
Well, they needed 2. They could only get 1. 4th down.
Well, they picked up a portion of it, but not all that they needed. Now that leads to a decision on 4th and 1. Let's see what they decide to do.
And the Cowboys going to bring on Brian Anger to punt on 4th down. This is taken at the 18. That'll be a 43-yard punt, but a net of just 33 following a 10-yard return. And it'll be Giant football 1st and 10. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. They'll be led out by their 5'11" quarterback from Wisconsin by way of NC State, and that's Russell Wilson.
I tell you what, when he is on schedule for that week, secondaries take notice because you've got to stay alert back there on every snap. A truly powerful arm, one that's capable of challenging any level of the defense on any given play. That's why so many scouts preach arm talent when preparing for the NFL draft. A quarterback with arm strength to make every throw in the book, he's an asset to have in any offense.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Sometimes I think these defensive tackles get a little bit of a bum rap. We just see them as big guys that eat up blockers for others to make tackles. Oftentimes they're quicker than they get credit for. And this time he uses quickness to make a play.
Out of the gun, here's Wilson. There's a short one to the tight end, Johnson. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. It's a Giant first down on a gain of 16.
And it's a real luxury when you have a guy who can turn a short throw into a solid gain at any moment. Once he caught that ball, he ID'd where the open grass was and got there in a hurry to pick up a new set of downs for his offense.
Now Wilson. Escaping the pressure right. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. Now we've got a Giant player here slow to get up after that last play. We'll get an update when we return to MetLife Stadium. So from Cowboy territory now, here's 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. Straight ahead, here's Tracy. And he fights forward for a modest 2-yard gain, 2nd down.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
Ball on the 30 now. Here's a 2nd and 8. They'll go again with Tracy. A short gain here, maybe a yard to the 29. When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot, he had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
Now they go screen. It's complete. And he'll be out of bounds just inside the 25-yard line. 5 yards on the screen, but that'll take us to 4th down.
The key to any screen play is all in the deception. And that means everyone on the offensive side of the ball. But someone gave it up because that one wasn't very well concealed. And the defense able to rally to him and hold him for just a short gain.
Gano's kick is good. And the Giants are off now to a 3-0 lead. So an opening drive field goal maybe doesn't whip this crowd into a frenzy, but I think that they will take the early lead.
There's no doubt about it. They will always take the early lead, and maybe that celebration comes later if they play well and they can break things open. But right now, this is all about letting the offense just get settled in.
After knocking through the field goal, here's Gano back out there now for the kickoff. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. Second drive forthcoming here for the Dallas Cowboys. And the last drive, the first drive for them, not very good. 3 and out. What do they go to here?
Well, you don't look down at your play sheet and say, this is what the problem is. Yeah, let's find out who my playmakers are. Get the ball in their hands, and maybe the offense will move a little bit better.
Sometimes it's more important to get it to the right people rather than dialing up the right number.
Exactly.
Or the right play, yeah.
That too.
Throwing. Prescott. Throwing the out route and complete. It's Ferguson. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. A quick first down pickup. Good start after going 3 and out on their opening drive.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup there, especially when it comes on the heels of a 3 and out the first time you have the ball. They were determined to not have that happen again, and that's a nice throw for their first down of the game.
Prescott. Pass complete. George Pickens with it. And he's brought down. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays.
Now that was pretty. They executed that curl route versus zone coverage, and that changes things a little bit because against man, it's often a tight curl, sharply run route. Against zone, you're just looking for that open spot, that dead area, so you may curl it a little bit wider just to get to that place.
And usually a tight window. He fired a bullet in there for the completion. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn it into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
Third catch for him on this drive alone, and it'll give him a first down.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
On first down, it's Blue. Bobby Okereke making that tackle.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Here's a 2nd and 5. To throw is Prescott. Over the middle, it's complete. That good for 6 as they keep this drive right on rolling.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10. They go with Blue between the tackles. And he'll be taken down at the 2-yard line. The pickup goes for 13 and sets him up 1st and goal. A much different second drive here, Charles. They go 3 and out the first time. This time they've been able to sustain something downfield.
And that's what often happens. You get the game started. You know, you have to get your footing underneath you. You have to get used to the flow of the game, the speed of the game. And sometimes that first drive is more of a probing drive. It appears they found something here in the second one.
Nothing doing there. They're going to wind up holding him at the 2. No gain there, and it's going to set up 2nd and goal. So stuffed from the 2, now what?
You know me pretty well. What do you think I want here?
Play action?
Definitely. Let him get outside and create. And if he has to run it, he has a little bit more space.
And he'll get in. Touchdown, Cowboys. Dak Prescott scoring on the 2-yard keeper. And the Cowboys have answered that early field goal to take a first-quarter lead.
That's a great alternative there to the old-fashioned quarterback sneak. Instead, let your quarterback take it in the shotgun and essentially choose his own path. He scans the situation, makes the right read, and takes it into the end zone on the QB draw.
Brandon Aubrey now for the extra point. He's got it. They'll see that opening drive field goal and raise it a touchdown, and that makes it 7-3. So that drive consumes 9 plays all told. And it was all capped off by Dak Prescott, keeping it and taking it in on the touchdown run. So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. On the return, here comes Eric Gray. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. So the Giants getting the football back here for their second drive. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6. They'll start with a run by Tracy. And he edges forward, but only gets a pair of yards out of it. It's 2nd down.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
From the 25, here's a 2nd and 8. From the gun, it's Wilson. All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked up by Trayvon Diggs. And the return here will go to the 31-yard line.
Brandon, this is a veteran quarterback back there. He should know better than to make a throw like this. This is definitely not his best ball. And I think he knew this was trouble the second it was leaving his hand.
The time to get another look at this Cowboys offense. And they'll have good field position here following the interception and a chance to build on their lead as they start with a 1st and 10. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Following the interception, here's Prescott. And that is dropped. Oh, that could have been a near certain 6 points. He was all alone, but he could not look it in. My, oh, my.
Oh, I don't know if he's sensing contact to come or what, but that's a ball he'd love to have back. That could have gone for big yardage, but it just didn't want to stay in his hands. That's a tough break.
Now Prescott. He'll find Lamb. That's complete. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Prescott and Lamb hooking up for the Cowboy first.
And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open. Just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space, and it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
And this is incomplete. Very lucky to get that one back. That nearly picked. It's 2nd down now.
Those are the ones you dream of as defenders. I think if he gets eyes on the ball a little bit earlier, he might come away with it. Instead, it's going to wind up as just an incomplete pass.
They'll run up the middle here with blue. And it'll be a minimum pickup here as it will take us to the end of the 1st quarter. After one, 7-3 the score on EA Sports. Start of the 2nd quarter, and it's the Cowboys in possession as they've got it with a 3rd down coming up. They'll come to the line here needing 9 yards to pick up the 1st. Looking to throw. Prescott. Oh, this will be incomplete. The rush gets home just as he was letting that go. That could have been worse. Instead, it's 4th down.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare incompletion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up. Not that time. And his kick is good. And they push the lead up to a touchdown now at 10-3. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense, the firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
So after the made field goal, back out is Aubrey to kick this away. Now a crease here as he's past the 30. And he nearly broke that for more, but as it is, still a good return. They'll start the drive right around the 37. The New York set to take the field. So now, Charles, this drive maybe a touch more important, trying to erase the memory of that interception they had the last time out.
Yeah, and everyone goes through this because even the best in the game, you're going to have games where it just doesn't go right for you, and interceptions result. So, frankly, to me, it's all about how you respond, not just the types of plays that you call, but how you carry yourself, how you show your team that you're still with it, and how you continue to lead.
And this will be stopped at the 44. That one good for 7 yards.
He decided to run a hitch route. It really helps to have a guy who can turn it loose. And, boy, he rifled one in there on that one. Not much run after catch, but it worked really well.
Here's 2nd and 3. They go play action with Wilson. He gets it left side to Johnson. And he's able to get this one out closer to midfield across the 45. Second catch for him today, and it'll wind up a first down.
Many different ways to create space, but on that play, he did it with that big, wide body of his. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage on the play, but it did what it was supposed to. Pick up a first down.
Throws this one right side to Pascal. They'll give him 4 yards there, and it'll be second down. To throw is Wilson. Johnson with a completion over the middle. Third catch of this first half for him, and this one is a first down.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then, of course, they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play, and that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
Oh, Pascal able to haul that one in. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. That one goes for 24 yards.
Press coverage on the outside, and for defenders, that's the ultimate risk-reward. If you take the risk, can you reward yourself by keeping them on the line of scrimmage? But no, not on that one. Got to step on them. Now it's just a matter of laying the ball out there for him to go get it.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Now it's Wilson. Completing it to the right side, Johnson. So the completion good for 7 there, and that will bring up second down.
Nice rhythm throw there on first down. He located his tight end, made it a nice, easy pitch and catch.
Hoping he can break a tackle or two. Wasn't able to do that there, but still good yardage. 2nd and 3 from the 9. Wilson. He's got it. And the Giants are looking at 1st and goal as he's tackled all the way down at the 2-yard line.
I know the halftime's approaching, but I don't think he's going to want to take a break. That's his 5th catch.
Yeah, they've really been targeting the tight end. Now it's Tracy. And he will take it on in for a Giant touchdown. Taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Giants are an extra point away from drawing level. And Charles, he's able to dive in there in a short yardage situation.
Just find a place to get to the end zone. Didn't matter where it was, but once he did, used his nose for the end zone and dove in.
Graham Gano on for the extra point. And he'll put it through, and that evens us up at 10 apiece. So that drive goes 8 plays, and it's culminated by a 2-yard touchdown run. All level now at 10 apiece as the kick's away. Kevontae Turpin now to return. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. The Dallas offense back out onto the field. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you've met fan bases that wanted that, that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
That's to about the 28. Second down coming up.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
Here's Prescott. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. Give them 11 yards that time and a new set of downs.
I do have to admit, I like it when it all comes together. When the top part, catching the football, right, whether you're catching it with your hands or cradling it, comes together with the legs, in this case the feet, doing a little toe tap to stay in bounds and complete the catch.
And a great job by our crew on the camera shot. Love when you see the grass or on the field turf, those rubber pellets flying up. Great catch. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
Not a huge play, but I think they're more than happy with how it turned out. Don't be surprised to see them revisit that call because there was a lane there for more than just 5 yards. Put it in your back pocket and break it out when you need it later.
And only a couple there as he'll take this up to the 47.
In order to play really good run defense when you're playing a 3-4, those three guys up front, the nose tackle and the guys they call the defensive ends, they're usually big, big people because they're going to have to eat up a lot of blockers because it's usually 5-on-3. And when they do their job well, guys who play on the inside, those inside linebackers, they're able to just roam and hit.
Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he will have a Cowboys first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
Would it be safe to say that as precise as routes are supposed to be run in the NFL, maybe they're not quite as precise in college ball?
That's accurate, yeah.
And I think we saw a college route in the NFL there. Just find the soft spot, find the dead zone, and find the first down. And that's what he just did.
So the drive takes him into Giants territory now. 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Prescott now. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's 2nd down.
It's another zone defense. It looks like it's open for possibilities, but they did a nice job patrolling the middle of the field and forcing an incompletion.
Here's 2nd and 10.
Prescott to throw it. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
That's a really nice job there by the coverage, understanding that they're in a high-stakes situation. If he doesn't make a play on that ball, there's an excellent chance it ends up either as a touchdown or as a nice gain downfield.
And this offense on 3rd down today, just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 10. Prescott yet again. Eluding the pressure right. And he's going to be stopped here at the 43, and that is not near enough to pick up the first. He opted to go with a scramble, gets 2 yards, and now it's 4th.
And, partner, I would guess that in his headset he was hearing from his coach, it's 3rd down, don't take a sack. And in this case, he's able to avoid the pressure and get out of there. He doesn't get the first down, but he does turn a possible loss into positive yardage.
So look at this. Here's the field goal unit coming out. And he is going to need to bomb this one. And his kick here is good.
Charles, even as long field goals become more and more common, this is still very rarefied air. Only just over 20 field goals have been kicked from 60 yards or further, and you can add his name to the list now.
And as calm as he tried to present himself, there's no doubt there were some nerves as he lined up to attempt that kick. But once the ball was snapped, he just swept the leg and boom, over the crossbar.
So after the made field goal, back out is Aubrey to kick this away. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return.
Throwing is Wilson.
Open target here, Darius Slayton. Still going inside the 20.
Touchdown, Giants!
Darius Slayton,
69 yards.
and the Giants are once again back in front.
As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
Gano for the extra point. And that will make this a 4-point game. They certainly made quick work of that, ultra-quick work. One of the fastest drives you'll ever see, just one play resulting in the touchdown. Gano now following the touchdown here to kick it away.
And they will wrangle it down a couple yards shy of the 30. Possession of the football going back to the Cowboys. Now Prescott. That is caught by Lamb. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. Getting it to him in space pays off big time. That winds up going for 31.
That's a real nice job right there, working the middle of the field, working against those safeties. And you know, partner, if you get your hips turned the wrong way, big plays can result.
And a big play resulted right there. So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. Here's Prescott.
A quick throw there is incomplete.
Well, the incompletion, yes, but maybe here not the worst thing in the world?
No, not on 1st and 10. It actually gives them a chance to regroup, relax just a little bit. They huddle up, talk it over. Then they get a chance to continue their drive.
Now it's 2nd and 10.
Now back to throw.
Throw left side, hauled in by Pickens.
They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4. To the air again, Prescott. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
So many offenses want to include their running backs into their passing offense and be able to swing the ball out or check it down to them. But sometimes those guys are just not as comfortable catching the ball as they are running it.
So on 4th down, Prescott off, and on is Aubrey for the Cowboy field goal.
And this is right down the middle as he puts it through, and that'll bring him back within a point. So he's been a busy man here in this first half. That's 3 field goals for him now.
And not just 3 field goals, but 3 for 3. So even though the offense has struggled a bit putting it in the end zone, they've still been able to come away with points due to his leg.
So after the made field goal, back out is Aubrey to kick this away. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. The Giants now going to take over late in this first half. And with a 1-point lead, you'd have to think they'll be looking just to get this to halftime.
From the shotgun, Wilson. Over the middle, complete. That's Johnson. The Giants going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts, as it'll come with 36 ticks to go in half number 1. So not quite a first down just yet as they come up on 2nd and less than a yard. Here's Wilson.
Left side, he's got Robinson.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. Now the Giants will use the second of their 3 timeouts. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Now it's Wilson. That's complete to Slayton. And he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. 25 yards there on the catch and run.
Another nice play there. They've gotten down into the red zone in no time at all. That's what this offense can do when they get on a roll. And now they're set up with a 1st and 10.
Final play of the half. It's Wilson. That's into the hands of Pascal. And able to get this down inside the 15 to either the 13 or 14 before he's out of bounds. So a very tight first half. We had to break in a 1-point game. As we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
This one's been all you could hope for as an NFL fan. Just a 1-point game here at halftime. This has been as much fun as you could hope for with both these teams in it to win it.
All right, Coach, thanks. Yeah, both teams likely to make some changes in what's been a closely fought battle to this point.
Second half ready to get rolling. The Giants with a lead, and they are set to receive this kick. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28. The Giants offense and Russell Wilson headed back onto the field. And he had it going in the first half, that's for sure. He's really had his way with his secondary. They've been powerless to stop him, and he'll look to keep it rolling right here. The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive.
Hey, Charles, they've got the lead. Put your coaching hat on here now. What's the game plan for the second half?
I think getting the running game going a little bit more, because I thought in the first half they didn't get it moving the way that they would like. They had success throwing it, but I think these first couple of drives, they'll want to get those running backs going and give them more opportunities, and I will guarantee you that those guys were lobbying for them in the locker room at halftime.
Got to assume this defense will be charging again here. It's 2nd and 15. Play action. Now Wilson. Here's Johnson with a reception. And he gets us to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. A big play on the catch and run, covering 34 yards.
Despite writing it down on my notes, I never give enough credit to the offensive line, and we have to here. The protection, that's what made this play a success. Quarterback had to wait for his crossing route to develop, and that takes a little bit of extra time. Excellent job by the big fellas up front.
So from Cowboy territory now, here's 1st and 10 at the 43. Caught out left side by Robinson. And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll leave him with a second and just a few inches left.
On the give, it's Tracy.
And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. They'll say no gain on the play, so it was looking good, but nothing there, and now it's 3rd down and inches.
Here comes 3rd and the length of the football. Right back to Tracy.
And he gets it to the 32, good enough for a 1st down. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. They go play action with Wilson. And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. He'll wind up getting 9 after tucking it and running, so it'll leave him with 2nd and a yard.
The defense did its job of taking away a quick throw, but that's only half the battle because they've got to get to him before he can make a run for it. A little bit late containing him there, so he makes a nice gain out of a play that looked like it was in trouble.
And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. Now they'll have it 1st and goal following that gain of 17.
Runs like that, this time on the RPO, is why they call him dangerous.
I love the way you dropped that in there. His decision-making is what makes it all go, because his ability to process so quickly what the defense is doing, make the right read, and then when he takes off and runs, also knows how to pick.
And he's got it. Touchdown, Giants. From 6 yards away.
And the Giants take the opening kickoff of the 3rd quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead.
Sometimes those tight ends are a mismatch. They found the mismatch there.
And that's exactly why you want to draw up those types of plays, because coverage is just going to go to the natural guys, the guys that make the big plays on the outside. But if you work your tight end into it, that's a tough one for a defense to handle.
Tough. They couldn't handle it. It worked out.
And we remember, of course, all scoring plays need to be verified upstairs, and I think they're going to at least take a look at this. They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How is the ball possessed while the feet are hopefully getting down in bounds? That's what they're trying to look at to see if it all comes together.
So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review, so they had it right.
Gano now to add the extra point. And with that, the lead is up to 8. So that drive takes him down the field in 8 plays. And it was finished off by a touchdown by the New York Giants. Gano now following the touchdown here to kick it away.
And out a little across the 25 to the 27.
The Cowboys offense now, they head out for their first possession of the second half. So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their own 27. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive.
Got an open man. It's Pickens.
A pickup of about 3 yards as he's taken down at the 31. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of until they stop him, why not go back to him? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
Here's a fake on the jet sweep, and instead a give up the middle.
And he'll scratch out only about a yard up to the 32.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
Now Prescott. And that is incomplete.
But if you're going to give out a little applause on that play, it has to go to the defense. More good work by them. They've taken away the passing lanes all game long, and you can see the frustration that it's causing because he just about threw that one into the first row.
Here's Brian Anger now as he'll kick it away for the second time. And now a high kick here as they'll try to cover this one. Now a fair catch called for and made right on the 45-yard line.
The Giants offense and their quarterback set to take the field once more. And as we show you some of the highlights from earlier, he has been instrumental in getting his guys the lead as he looks to finish strong and close this one out. The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways because you know they're both motivated. They both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
Well, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Trayvon Diggs. Still going inside the 20.
And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Cowboy defense has a touchdown.
Well, mistake there by the offense, Charles. They tried to pick on a Pro Bowl corner in coverage there, and not the smartest decision. He reminded him that he was a Pro Bowl corner with not only the pick, but the pick 6.
And those guys who have that designation, sometimes they get a little bit bored in games because people try to avoid them. They absolutely love it when they get challenged, and it's a chance to remind everyone exactly why they were tabbed as one of the best in the league the prior season.
So the Cowboys now bringing the offense out there to go for 2. Following the interception, here's Prescott. Throws right side. And he's got it. So they went ahead and went for 2 to tie the game, and it works out. And there's a quick momentum swing. INT return for a pick 6, and then the 2-point conversion good.
And even if you're keeping your wits about you, you're thinking to yourself, okay, extra point block team going into the game now. All of a sudden you're hearing defense. Everyone's scrambling for their helmets and throwing down their cups of water. That's a great position for them to be in, trying to score against that team. A little bit disjointed.
Nothing separating these two sides. 24 all our score as he sends this one away.
And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27.
And New York set to take the field.
Now remember, they were just out here a moment ago through the pick 6, so we'll see if they can take better care of the football this go-around.
And sometimes, partner, I think it's almost better that you just throw the pick 6 and you come right back out on the field. You're not over on the sidelines dwelling for it for very long. You're not hearing everyone say, oh, hey, you'll get them next time. Hey, don't worry about it. All that stuff just goes right out the window. You're right back out on the field with a chance to atone.
Tracy going to get it on first down.
And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line.
Mozzie Smith, he's the one who got in there and made that play defensively.
They have 3 tight ends in that formation. That's almost a universal sign that they're planning to run the football. But how about the defense there? They met force with force and caused a stack up behind the line of scrimmage and threw him for a loss.
They'll hand it to Tracy.
He takes this for 3 to the 29.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
They'll see about converting this 3rd and 8.
Now Wilson. Now they set up the screen. That's complete.
And he will have a Giants first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Let's give a little credit there. The offensive play caller sensed that the screen pass was available. Whenever you're getting a lot of heavy pressure towards your quarterback, that's when you're thinking about running the screen and using that pressure against the defense. And it worked very well there for a first down.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38.
On the ground, here comes Tracy.
And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
Here's Wilson to throw. It's complete to Robinson. And he's able to get this one out closer to midfield across the 45. 7 yards there and a first down. Now Wilson. This one hauled in, and again it's Robinson. And he's got this down to the 35. Another first down as he went right back to the same well, this time for 17 yards.
Of course, the catch was nice, but how about what happened after? Able to stay on his feet and gain all that additional yardage. So many of these slot guys, I think, have running back in their background.
Here's Tracy. And able to get this to the 31.
And that was a quality play to start a new set of downs. That was simply an offensive line winning the battle up front and winning in a big way and giving their guy in the backfield a nice lane to hit.
From the 31, here's 2nd and 6. On the run is Tracy.
And nowhere to run on the interior of that defensive line. He'll get back only to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, so they're left with a 3rd down and 6. Nice job there defensively to clamp down because really they've been on their heels this drive.
Agreed, and they really needed that one for confidence, just to feel a little bit better. But I don't know if I would be daunted by them stopping me on one run. This drive has gone pretty well. I could come right back at them.
He's got his target. That's complete.
And he will take it all in for a Giant touchdown. Making a hat trick for Russell Wilson. 3 touchdown passes now.
And the Giants have taken the lead here in the final seconds of the 3rd quarter.
When you're a great route runner, it makes you that much better as a receiver because now your quarterback trusts that you're going to be where he expects, and he's able to deliver the ball on time.
Gano for the extra point. And they will take a 7-point lead now. 3 quarters have come and gone.
You are watching the NFL on EA Sports.
Back now here at MetLife Stadium, where the 4th quarter will begin with a kickoff following the score on the final play of the 3rd quarter. Gano out to kick this one away.
And a decent return out to the 27-yard line.
Here's the Dallas offense now heading back out onto the field.
They now trail by 7 after that last touchdown here in the fourth quarter. What a big spot for this offense. See if they can cobble something together on this drive.
So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their own 27. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And incomplete, a drop there in the middle third of the field. That'll bring up 2nd down. He was out there waving his arms saying throw it here, dropped it, not a good look.
Well, all I can do is just look at him with contempt on that one. As a defensive back, I'm saying, not as an announcer. Just like, really?
A little bit of a diva look, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so, because I think what happens is he just had too much time to think. He's wide open now. Here comes the ball, and he doesn't concentrate and drops it.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Give him 15 there, and the Cowboys have a first.
I like the design that we're seeing right there. This is what they need. Down by a touchdown here in the fourth. They just need to keep working their way downfield, and when they see openings, take their shots.
Play fake. Here's Prescott. He'll get 3 yards on the scramble there. It's 2nd down.
Brandon, once that one broke down, there were only so many options left for him to take. Fortunately, only 1st down, so he smartly got the yardage he could get and didn't worry about trying to turn it into a bigger play and end up taking a bigger loss. Here, they hope they can regroup and get something different going here on 2nd down.
Now a give up the middle to Williams. And a good pickup there. He gets about 6 up to midfield.
Not a ton of room available on that one, but he made use of what space was available and gained decent yardage.
This offense so far on 3rd down, they've had their troubles. Just 1 for 6. This time they face a 3rd and 2. So no sack. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, but it'll still bring up a 4th down.
Late in the game, he's certainly doing everything in his power to buy time for his guys to make a play, but in this case, he's surrounded, and all he has room to do is to get back to the line of scrimmage.
One score down. Here we go. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. Desperation time. Prescott on 4th.
Pass taken in by his big tight end.
And he'll be taken down, but he does have 1st down yardage. Give them credit. They knew what they wanted to dial up on 4th. They executed it for 9 yards, and the offense stays out there.
A new lease on life after the 4th down conversion. Here's 1st and 10.
Prescott now, option right.
And now we're going to get a stoppage. A member of the Cowboys shaken up.
We'll get an update when we return to MetLife Stadium.
Now we're at the 41, 2nd and 9.
Throwing, Prescott.
That is caught by Lamb.
And they're going to have another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Giants' 13-yard line. 28 yards the gain there on the catch and run.
What a drive this has been, just chewing up the yardage, and here's one of their best plays yet as they finally get down into the red zone and look to finish this off with 6.
The drive continues as they search for a tying touchdown. Here's 1st and 10. Here's Prescott. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. Give him a couple on the scramble. It's second down.
Well, it certainly appears to me that the defensive guys are starting to look a little bit tired while he still has some fresh legs. Not the biggest gain we've seen on a scramble, but still some positive yardage on a play that initially looked like a sure win for the defense.
Looking to throw. Prescott. Quick hitter here. It's complete. And he'll get this down inside the 5 to the 4 before he's out of bounds. That's good. The completion there for 7 yards. And that will bring up 3rd and 1.
So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down.
Here's Prescott. Touchdown, Cowboys!
Jake Ferguson
From 4 yards out.
And the Cowboys are an extra point away from tying this game here in the 4th. And we are set up for a fantastic finish now. A 4th quarter touchdown here. We're an extra point away from a tie football game.
And I know they're thinking about possibly going for 2, but I'd go ahead and kick this one and just get it back to level.
Aubrey now for the PAT.
And no sweat. He puts it through, and we are tied here in the 4th. So that one a long 11-play drive, and it culminates in a Dallas touchdown.
Now this one setting up for a great finish. All tied in the 4th as the kick's away. This fielded right at the goal line. And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped it to 23-yard line. The home team's offense and their quarterback ready to go once more. And he has been masterful so far in leading this offense. He's kept the mistakes to a minimum. He's been on point with his passes, and he's generally been one step ahead of this defense all game long.
The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive.
Well, they just gave up the score to tie it. That's the bad news. The good news, plenty of time in this 4th quarter to try to grab that lead back.
And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. Give him 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give him a first down.
Absolutely love the run right there. This guy's known for his quickness, but also for his speed. And he's able to get to the second level almost before you blink if you give him any type of blocking. Always talk about slot receivers, and they're usually known as quicker than fast. In this case, we've got a guy who's quick and fast, and he used it to great advantage.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. He'll get 15 and a Giants first down. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. Wilson.
Able to locate his man Slayton on an out route.
And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. 12 more yards there and another first down.
Well, it certainly doesn't matter if it's been through the air like on this play or on the ground. I don't know what's going on with this defense. In a sense, they've been AWOL on this drive so far. 3 plays, 3 first downs given up. They've got to find the answer.
And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line.
Micah Parsons showing off that elite athleticism as he gets the sack. We've seen him escape similar situations earlier in the game and get away from pretty good yardage. At that time, they get him down.
Yeah, they've had enough evidence that he can get away and run for good yardage, haven't they? That time it felt like, okay, enough of this. Let's play it the right way and get him on the ground before he does any damage.
Here's Wilson. And they're able to get this one past the 30 to the 25-yard line. The rushing numbers for Wilson may be down from earlier in his career, but he's still a threat to go, showing it there, picking up the first down.
They're not out of it yet, but in order to come back, they need him to play clean football the rest of the way. He makes a correct read there, passing on challenging a blanket coverage and getting the first down with his legs instead.
Forced out to his left. And he'll protect himself at the end here as he winds up getting pretty decent yardage.
Well, this has certainly turned into a showcase game for what he can do on the ground because they're just continuing to give him chances to run it, and he's earning every additional carry by putting up positive yardage on each run.
They come up now on 2nd and 2.
Wilson. Going right side, he finds Slayton.
And the Giants are going to have a 1st and goal as he'll be taken down at the 7-yard line.
Getting down to the good stuff. All tied with 2 minutes remaining on EA Sports.
Now 1st and goal. Tracy trying the right side.
And this is going to result in losing yardage. They're driven back to the 8-yard line.
Partner, you've got about 20 coaches on your payroll, but there's 60,000 of them in the stands. I don't think any of them like that play.
And the later we go, it's starting to sound like 100,000 in here. It's 2nd and goal, back to the 8-yard line now. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And he will maneuver his way down to about the 7.
Were you as surprised as I was that they actually ran it on 2nd down there? I thought that they would go ahead and throw it in every situation here.
They've thrown for 3 touchdown passes now. Here, I think they probably go back to the air.
Yeah, I think so. But ordinarily, 2nd down is when you run your play fake, your play action, show run, and throw the ball. Now they brought up 3rd down and they'll have to throw it anyway.
3rd down, here's Tracy.
And they'll get him down here at about the 5-yard line. Now the Cowboys going to burn the first of their timeouts as they stop it here with 1:07 remaining. So the field goal unit is on the field as this is a big spot right here. This for the lead in the final stages. Gano's kick is good. And with a little over a minute to play, they have taken the lead. Big kick right there to give them the lead in the 4th, but there is still time left for a final drive.
Did they score too soon? Post-game will tell us, right? Depending on what happens on this drive, that's how we'll analyze it. If the other team scores, they scored too soon. If they somehow hold on, they managed the clock exactly right.
After knocking through the field goal, here's Gano back out there now for the kickoff.
And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line.
So Dak and the Cowboys down 34-31, a little over a minute to go. Now they need at minimum 3 points out of this as they come up 1st and 10.
Here's Prescott.
He hits blue. The Cowboys going to use their 2nd timeout now as they get it with under a minute to go now in the football game.
Final minute, 1 timeout remaining. 1st and 10. Prescott. A short one there taken in by Ferguson. Here comes 2nd down at 5. Now Dak.
Drops it to blue, complete.
And he's going to get out of bounds with the first down. So an ideal set of circumstances there. They move the chains, and they save that final timeout.
That's what they need right now. Get the first down, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Just playing smart football, understanding the situation, making the plays necessary, and making sure that clock stops at every opportunity.
Here's first down. To throw, Prescott. A short one there, taken in by Ferguson.
And they'll get this one to about the 20-yard line. The Cowboys signal for their third and final timeout as they stop it with 22 ticks to go in the fourth.
This offense cannot stop the clock now. No timeouts remaining as they come up here first down. Here's Dak.
And he'll just get rid of it. Couple extra defensive backs out there in the dime, and because of that, really not many places to throw the football, if any.
And typically, what would you want to do against that dime?
Run the football.
You want to run the ball, but you can't do it in this situation. Not nearly enough time on the clock. You having to really navigate against a tough defense presented against you.
The Giants going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. So now one of the biggest kicks of the night is forthcoming. This to potentially send us to overtime. And his kick is right there. It's good, and that will tie this game here in the final minute of play. So in the final minute, they turn it over to their kicker to get him back to even, and he does not disappoint.
Brandon, do you think the pressure ever gets to this guy? Because I sure don't. That was pretty smooth right there. But I tell you, he better not rest on his laurels, because there's a good chance they may need him again if this game goes to overtime.
This one, all we could have asked for. All tied, final minute as the kick's away here. And no chance to see a return on the dynamic kickoff. They'll move this out to the 30-yard line. This is 1st and 10.
Now Wilson. Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. And he goes out right around the 39.
Here's 2nd down.
Throwing now is Wilson. And he will go down. A Cowboys sack. And now with 4 seconds left, we get a timeout call.
A big play needed, no doubt. 3rd and long.
Wilson to throw. Gonna let one fly for Robinson. And his throw is incomplete. Final whistle blows, and we need some extra time here to decide who will be the victor.
60 minutes, just not enough some days to decide who's going to win the game.
So the first crack here in overtime goes to the New York Giants as we are back underway. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24.
Here's the Giant offense now as they get ready to take over here.
Here's Wilson. Over the middle, he completes it to Robinson.
Short completion, just 4 yards, and it'll be second down.
And I think he just wanted to get the ball to one of his playmakers to see if they can make something happen, but he ends up throwing into a crowded area, and after the catch, he isn't able to do much with it.
Opening drive of overtime. Both teams will get a possession, barring a defensive score. Here's second down.
Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. A new set of downs after a strong pickup of 16 yards.
Now how about this throw right here? Had to throw it to the left sideline, and you know the timing's got to be correct on this one. Ball's got to be right where it needs to be, and it was. That's because he had great arm strength on that one, able to drive the football. Quarterbacks love it when they can show off their arms.
On first down, Tracy. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40.
45 yards rushing for him now on 17 carries.
They go with the ground game, pick up the first, now in plus territory.
And that changes the whole mentality of a play caller, doesn't it? Once they cross the 50, they feel like they're in the strike zone, all right? You don't have to be in the red zone to take those big shots downfield or go after the end zone. Right now, that might be available to him.
And now this first drive in OT continues. And this winds up a pickup of 2, maybe 2.5 to about the 39.
I think if we put together a job description for a middle linebacker, we would start with being able to hold down things in the middle of the line of scrimmage and be able to take on blockers. But how about the guys who can go sideline to sideline and make plays?
Love a guy that can do that. We saw a perfect example of it right there. Play action. It's Wilson. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
I think he's a little trigger happy right there, and it turned into an ill-advised throw into their zone.
Well, we know he has confidence. He'll throw it any place, anytime, anywhere. That time it fell incomplete. 3rd and 8 situation. A tough spot here in overtime on the opening drive. Throwing is Wilson.
Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he is into the end zone. They accomplish what they set out to do as they will take the lead here in overtime.
I know Paul Revere talked about by land or by sea, right? You know, 1 by land, 2 by sea. He didn't mention air because right now we're seeing a big-time performance, aren't we? That's 2 touchdowns so far in this game.
Where'd you pull that one from?
And, you know, every now and then I actually listened in history class.
And you're just a scholar all the way around. You're reading all the time. I like that you fit that into the broadcast.
You know, I just grab a nugget when I can.
Gano now to add the extra point. And they will take a 7-point lead now. So that drive, 6 plays, 75 yards. And it was polished off by a Giants touchdown. Gano now following the touchdown here to kick it away.
And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get this up to the 29.
And out now come the Cowboys. So Prescott of the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10, just shy of the 30. Now a first throw here in overtime. And the giant rush gets home as down he goes.
Buried by multiple defenders on the drive's first play.
I wonder if they're wandering back to the huddle thinking to themselves, can we just hit rewind and go back a play? Definitely not the down they wanted to begin this drive by giving up a sack. But for the defense, that's exactly how they drew it up.
They need a matching touchdown here to keep their hopes alive. Here's 2nd down.
Now what can Prescott do in the OT? Got a man over the middle, and it's complete. A big gain there after going backwards, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
That's a good bounce-back play right there after taking a sack on 1st down. Didn't quite get it to the marker, but now they're in a much better spot for a 3rd and short yardage call. Through the offensive coordinator, you like looking at that section a heck of a lot better than trying to figure out 3rd and long.
And they'll let their fullback try and push the pile. And he's got the 1st down as he's up to the 45-yard line.
So they cite the right guard this time with a holding penalty.
And so many different assignments you can have at that position, and sometimes you might just be a step too late and have to grab and hold on.
Prescott from the gun. Under pressure, and down he goes. He couldn't get away there on 3rd down. The pressure too much, and he's sacked for a loss of 12.
Now that was a passer's nightmare. The front door totally shut down by the defense, so he kept going backwards, hoping to find another avenue of escape. It didn't exist.
A big call here in overtime. They're going for it on 4th down. To throw is Prescott. He's going to float this one deep right side. It's caught inside the 25.
And he is going to have the Cowboys' 1st down. And it is a big letdown there defensively. They somehow allowed to convert on 4th and long.
And how about that? In a game that's had just about everything, how's that for an answer? Remember, in the past, this game would be over already. But that's a huge play there to give them a fighting chance to go down and possibly tie this game.
A real field flipper there as all of a sudden they've got a 1st down in the red zone. Now Prescott.
And he's going to get into the end zone. They respond with a touchdown of their own. And now decision time. Down by 1 here in OT.
That's a really good decision right there outside of the pocket. You've got to know the right time to shift from passer to runner. He was looking and looking. Nothing there. You can almost feel the brainwaves firing as he calculates. I think I can win a race to the pylon. And he turns out to be right. Touchdown.
Aubrey now for the point after.
And his kick is right through. 5 plays there on that drive.
And it was all capped off by Dak Prescott, keeping it and taking it in on the touchdown run.
So a tie ball game here as the kick's away.
I couldn't take the chance. This will be returned from the goal line.
And taken down just past the 20 at about the 21-yard line. And the Giants ready to come out now.
A long drive last time out for this offense, Charles. If you remember, they started basically in the shadows of their own end zone, marched it down the field, and a lot of that was through the passing game.
And, partner, as a former defensive back, I'm having almost a physical reaction watching what's happening right now. But let's give credit where it's due because they've done an excellent job moving the ball through the air. Secondary getting picked apart pass by pass. Obviously, they need to make some adjustments there on the back end.
Yeah, because offensively, we know that they're not going to be shy about throwing that football. 57 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before, they always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking so you don't trip and fall when it happens in a game.
Now it's Wilson.
The short throw pulled in by Bellinger.
His first catch, and it's a big one in overtime. It's a first down.
That was a route run not just with dexterity, but with intelligence. Found the hole in the zone, made sure the quarterback saw him, and was able to make the sure catch and flip the down marker back to 1.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. To throw is Wilson. He'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. And brought down, but not before reaching the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 11 and a Giant first down.
And when you have success throwing the football, the old cliche becomes true. The playbook opens up wide. And these screen passes, they become even more difficult to stop.
They'll run on first down. Tracy.
And a pretty athletic run right there as he's going to get this down inside the 40.
Another nice gain, 16 yards there and a first down again.
Partner, this is a pretty good drive they're putting together. And I know if I'm on the other sideline, that offense, kind of helpless, isn't it? Because they may not touch the football at all because if they go down and score a touchdown, this thing's over.
Absolutely, that would write an ending to this script. We'll see what happens. Now it's Wilson. Over the middle, and there's a diving catch.
And he's going to get this down near the 25.
And that's how you throw for a whole heap of yards in a game. You get efforts like that from your receivers. How about him laying out for that catch?
Yeah, excellent. Makes the quarterback look a whole lot better. On first down, Tracy. They get him to the ground right on the cusp of the red zone after a pickup of 5 or 6. They've had some success here in overtime on this opening drive running the football. Right back to that well.
And why not? When you have that kind of success, make them stop you. And until they do, keep going back to that well you just spoke about. I think there's more water there and available to them.
And he got it. The kick is good. In overtime, he's able to split the uprights. And the Giants win the football game.
Charles, normally when you see a group score this many points, it's a complete blowout. But instead, they needed every single one of those in this close, high-scoring affair.
And, Brandon, I'm still on the edge of my seat after that one because when you have that much scoring and it still comes down to a one-possession game at the end, that's not something we see very often. And in this case, these offenses, they brought it. The defenses, they're going to need some work going forward.
So that'll do it for my partner, Charles Davis, and the best darn crew in the industry. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. With that, we say so long from MetLife Stadium.